8-cylinder engines that reduce your fuel consumption by shutting that engine down to a 4-cylinder engine. So most of your large GM vehicles now have a V8 that is a big gas guzzler, but when you get on the highway, it shuts down to a 4-cylinder and you never even know it seems. The next generation of all those products, we've been doing similar products for about 6 years. This is the next generation, and it will provide about $15 million in annual revenue, and out of that 55 people, probably employ about 40 of those people. So trying to be a little conservative on what we're telling you in terms of how many people we're going to bring in, but it's pretty exciting stuff, and especially from where we were 3 or 4 years ago. It's a nice thing, and I guess for me personally, as you know, as Sue knows, I grew up in Muskegon. We were offered some pretty lucrative proposals to go elsewhere. The state of Indiana and South Bend gave us some rather insane, which I felt were insane. They were great for me, but proposals that, this is where we want to stay. We've been very fortunate. We've been able to grow and be successful with our team all coming primarily from Muskegon County. So I guess that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Any questions from the commission?
Great question. The jobs that you're looking to fill in the next coming months or years, are those positions that you feel we have a workforce to fill in Muskegon County?
Yeah, we do. It's been a little difficult actually. You would think after the meltdown of 2009 that it would be easy to fill a lot of those positions. A lot of these newer positions are going to be on more middle technical level positions. Tool and die will be a lot of it. Maintenance, process engineering. There'll still be quite a few entry level positions as well. But when everything started to come back and we realized that we were bringing a lot of people that weren't necessarily, it wasn't that they weren't qualified, they didn't have the specific training that we needed, so we actually started our own school, so to speak, for new employees as well as continuing education for a lot of our workforce. So for the ones that don't have all the skill sets that we need to bring in, we'll provide them with that. And actually that's on site now at the Becker facility because there's a whole lot of empty offices there, so we were able to create a school classroom there. We have a full-time instructor staff that does nothing but employee training. So the majority of those jobs we hope to fill from Muskegon County. We don't typically go outside very often to bring people. I mean, my entire management team grew up with me. They started out on the floor working as machine operators and supervisors, and now they're supposed to be in charge. I guess that's what they tell me. But and we try to keep that same momentum in terms of who we bring into our organization.
Any other questions, Commissioner?
Those jobs that you train, are those considered entry-level jobs also, or?
There'll be a mix of both. Probably out of the 65, a third of those will be more technical. There'll be a lot of them will be people who've been brought up with it from within throughout the rest of the company. Port City Castings, Muskegon Castings. Any promotional opportunities, we always get to our current base first, and then we'll bring from the outside. 2/3 of those will be entry-level positions that'll go through that training program, and then the other third will be more middle technical people who typically would have that skill set. Even if they have 75% of it, we can at least on site give them the rest of the skills that they need.
I'd just like to say congratulations and good job with your business and keeping jobs here in Muskegon and giving Muskegon County and the kids the opportunity to get jobs here so they don't have to look elsewhere. So that's definitely a big plus.
Yeah, it's reciprocal. Your professional staff here did a fantastic job helping us try to get all these pieces of the puzzle together. So it's really appreciated from this end as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we wish you all good luck, and I'm glad that you will not be becoming a Hoosier. And I will never refer to you as Junior.
That's good. My blood grows green and white, so there's no need in Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you. As this is a public hearing, we'll entertain any questions or input from the public, and if you do have questions, please approach the podium when recognized. If not, a public hearing and approve the exemption for new personal property. Exemption. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Waringo and seconded by Commissioner Hood to close the public hearing and approve an exemption of new personal property for a duration of 12 years for Alloy Resources Corporation. Any discussion? If not, roll call please.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gowron,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. We have item B, please.
Request for exemption of new personal property, PA 328, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. Pursuant to Public Act 328 of 1998 as amended, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, 2121 Latimer Drive, has requested an exemption of new personal property. The company plans on investing $7 million in machinery and equipment and is seeking a 12-year exemption on personal property. The exemption would include all new personal property investments during the duration of the exemption. Staff recommendation, approval of the exemption of new personal property for a duration of 12 years.
Jen, did you want to come back up and repeat everything that you told us?
Boy, if I have to do it verbatim, it's gonna be tough.
Commissioners, you probably asked all your questions. I'll open up any public input or questions. If not, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing and approve the exemption for a new personal property for a duration of 12 years for Engineered Aluminum Casting Incorporated.
So moved.
A second? It has been moved by Commissioner Hood and seconded by Commissioner German to approve the exemption of new personal property for a duration of 12 years for Engineered Aluminum Casting Incorporated. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call please.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gowron,
Yes.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Item C, please.
Request for an industrial facilities exemption certificate, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. Pursuant to Public Act 198 of 1974 as amended, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, 2121 Latimer Drive, has requested the issuance of an industrial facilities tax exemption certificate. The total capital investment will be $738,000 in real property and will create 2 jobs. This qualifies them for a tax abatement of 12 years. Staff recommendation, approval of the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property.
Thank you. Any public input or comment? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve a resolution granting an industrial facilities tax or facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property for Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated. And close the public hearing.
Did you get that motion?
Not yet.
Oh, I so moved.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Waringo, seconded by Vice Mayor Spataro. I almost said my last name. To approve the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property for Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated. Any discussion? Not roll call, please.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gowron,
Yes.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Item D, please.
Request for an industrial facilities exemption certificate, Muskegon Castings Corporation, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. Pursuant to Public Act 198 of 1974 as amended, Muskegon Castings Corporation, 2323 South Sheridan Road, has requested the issuance of an industrial facilities tax exemption certificate. The total capital investment will be $501,000 in real property and will create 10 jobs. This qualifies them for a tax abatement of 12 years. Staff recommendation, approval of the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property.
Is there any member of the public that would like to address this item or give input?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Waringo, seconded by Vice Mayor Spataro to approve the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property for Muskegon Castings Incorporated. Any discussion?
I'd like to ask Mike just one question. 12 years, and that's a standard time frame for the exemption?
Yeah, for the IFTs, that's standard for real property.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or discussion?
Just one question also. Those 10 jobs that's going to be created, are those going to be like the high-tech job that you were talking about, the contract with the Toyota company?
Probably a mix of both, probably 30%. That's typically the mix that we have versus what I look at as our direct labor team, and then our indirect, which would be more the technical process engineering folks. So probably 3 to 4 of that level, skill level, and then 6 of the entry level where we'll provide training on site.
Anything else, commissioners? If not, roll call, please.
Mayor Gowron,
Yes.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Are we all done? Can we send John and Dale on their way to get things going?
It's not going to be banished.
No.
Thank you again. I really appreciate the support. And it's a two-way street, and it really is. And it's this city has been a wonderful place to grow this business. You know, it doesn't feel like it's been 15 years for me doing this, but it's I can't say it's been fun all the time, but it's getting a lot more fun now, and appreciate all the help to make this happen.
Best of luck and thank you for your investment. Thank you, gentlemen.
Success.
We do have new business, and I'm going to preface this with the fact that this presentation for this membership dues, we had not placed it in the budget, and we had considered that we would not be participating any longer. However, as the dues came in, request came in the mail, we would consider it. So, Madam Clerk.
2013 National League of Cities Membership Dues, City Clerk, summary request. The 2013 National League of Cities Membership Renewal Notice has been received. Staff recommendation, none.
The amount of the $3,258. Vice Mayor?
Thanks. Well, we've discussed this in the budgeting process, and while I have been an advocate for being a member of this organization, I believe we still get benefits through our membership in the Michigan Municipal League, which is also connected to the National League of Cities. So, you know, we all know the fiscal reality. It's not a lot of money, but I think we have to cut this one. So I would move that we not spend the money to pay the membership dues for the National League of Cities for 2013.
I would support that motion.
Could you clarify to not do it?
To not.
Correct.
Okay,
So a
I
yes
just wanted to
vote
be
is.
sure I heard you correctly.
Just one clarification, do we have to send any kind of notice to them or anything, or?
I think the clerk will push that.
So it has been moved.
For bridges, but.
Right. It's been moved by Vice Mayor Spataro and seconded by Commissioner Turnquist. Not to renew our membership in the 2013 National League of Cities. Is that clear enough?
Yeah.
Okay, for 2013. Any discussion?
Did I hear you say that we get similar services from another organization?
Well, we get a high degree of service through our participation in the Michigan Municipal League.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Commissioner?
Do we have someone that attends meetings, if they have meetings, that we can?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, you would know, we wouldn't.
Well, it's not what we remember up until now.
Right.
Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gilman,
Yes,
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
motion passes.
thank you. Is there any other business to be brought by any of the commission? If not, I will now open up to public participation. Mr. Nye, you make a request?
Thank you, Mr. President.
And you're speaking on behalf of Occupy.
That is correct, yes.
And you just your name and your address.
Roger Nye, 1495 Westwood Circle, Norton Shores. Good evening. Occupy Muskegon was initiated in October of last year, inspired by and in solidarity with the Occupy Wall Street movement in New York City. If you think of us as a scruffy bunch of unemployed hippie 20-somethings, turn off Fox News, please, and think again. Our average age, I would reckon, is somewhere around 55. I myself have just reached Medicare age. Most of us are retired and or employed, though maybe not as employed as we'd like to be. A majority of us have college degrees, and some of us have advanced degrees. We've always been a nonviolent, peaceful group working by consensus. We presently consist of about a dozen highly motivated and committed individuals. We are essentially self-funded and totally self-governed and independent. Unlike Occupy Wall Street, we have never engaged in confrontation with police or attempted to occupy any public park or building. Instead, we have adopted a strategy of speaking truth to power. We have attended public meetings throughout this county. We have also peacefully conducted actions within the limitation of the law to protest the emergency manager law, the activities of outlaw bankers, and the degradation of our environment. We are not going away, and we will continue to speak out against all attempts to stifle democracy at this trying time in our nation's history. The Occupy movement will not be going away either, as long as the grievances that inspired it continue to erupt. Muskegon is, in a way, a poster child for the challenged American post-industrial city, and must deal with many of the issues that face much larger municipalities. A city with problems is not necessarily a bad place to live. It can be an energizing experience to see how people deal with the challenges facing our society and try to make new beginnings. The fate of the former Sappy paper mill site is one of the issues that keeps us returning to the meetings of the City Commission. But another issue is the trouble ordinary citizens have in addressing the Commission. To be fair, we have found this to be a problem at the County Commission as well, and at a few of the townships in this county. A meeting time inconvenient for many of our brightest and best citizens who must work in Grand Rapids, a general 3-minute limitation on public comment, and the presence of 2 armed police officers at commission meetings has, in the opinion of many of us, a chilling effect on free speech. In the future, you can expect to see us here often and early. We'll be speaking out as usual, and we'll be observing and video recording you as we are entitled to do under the Michigan Open Meetings Act. We will, to the best of our ability, be posting these videos on social media and promoting the City Commission and County Commission as examples of American democracy in action. Please remember then that the whole world is, or at least may be, watching. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Karen? Eric?
Hello, my name is Karen Bednarik at 3302 Arlington Avenue, and I have been a property owner and a taxpayer in the city of Muskegon and have loved the city since I moved here 31 years ago. And that's, people who come here to speak out don't do it because we don't have anything else to do, that we need these kinds of power trips, but we do it because we care about the city and the direction that it's going in, and we feel as though public input does help shape positive results. I'm just going to speak because last night, and I realize this has been happening repeatedly since the beginning of the demolition of the Sappy site, is that I'll be awakened. We like to sleep with our windows all open, even when it's cold, in the middle of the night, and my throat is constricted, and my eyes are running, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, do I have like a big allergy attack, or what's going on? But then when I get up in the morning and I look at which way the boats are going, they're directed towards the Sappy site, and I don't know if it's the particulates coming off the site, but definitely it is a health concern that can't be ignored because we have high rates of respiratory RSV and asthma, renal failure and cancer in this area, and we are not sure what the particulates cause, and we're all entitled to enjoy our property and not have to worry about breathing the air as having a detrimental effect on our health. And I've been to quite a few meetings lately, and people keep talking about the lake shore as our crowning jewel, and certainly we are to be commended for having access all along our lake shore in the city of Muskegon, that the public has access, even if you're from Twin Lake, even if you're from Ravenna, you can come to our lake shore and you don't have to pay anything. But I'm just wondering if people, when we're talking about that, drawing tourism, drawing industry, we know that clean industry with good jobs has, like these gentlemen spoke of, the pick of the crop in terms of places to locate, because everybody wants them in their area. They're offering them all kinds of tax incentives. And, you know, you helped along with your tax abatements today. But I'm just wondering if this is the picture that you want visitors to get when they come over the Cross Lake Ferry, because as Mr. Melching had said, his plan all along has been to locate a scrapyard, and this is the Padnos scrapyard, which has been in operation for many, many years. Someone gave me these pictures, and as people say, a picture tells 1,000 words. So I just would like you to look at these and just let them sink into your consciousness in terms of your decision-making as you contemplate decisions regarding the lakeshore and specifically Sappy. The first one is Padnos, the rest of them are our own site. And then at the end of the little questionnaire that I got, it said, well, who have you contacted about this issue? And of course, I probably have called most of you at different times. But I remember when Mayor Warmington was here, he was saying, well, I can see that this is a big concern, and, you know, I don't know who he said, maybe to Brian, assign a city staff person. And so when I did try to contact a city staff person, it was Don Lebreves, who is kind of already overworked electrical inspector who doesn't have a broad environmental background in terms of remediation and demolition. But since that department is being dismantled, I would like to know whom I would contact as, you know, your directive on the bottom of the speaking form suggests, now that the inspections department is no longer operational. Yes, I also have heard from people in the community that they've been awakened by what they feel is probably a shredder, and what I understood from talking to the people at DEQ was that Mr. Melching was not supposed to bring a shredder on site until the DEQ had characterized the pollutants, or it would put their ability to apply for remediation funds through the state and through the federal government. So I don't know if anyone here knows if there is a shredder, but people are talking about being awakened and shaken because people in the Holland area say a shredder, which is part of a scrapping operation, is very, very noisy as well as very reverberating in terms of just shaking the whole area. So I don't know if anybody has that information, if there has been a shredder brought on site, and as they're demolishing things, I'm seeing new things, and I think, well, is that the shredder? Because I heard it was around.
I was there on Friday, I did not see if there was not a shredder, and as far as the contact individuals, as far as inspections and whatnot, Chief Lewis would be in that position.
Okay, Chief Lewis.
As a conduit. But remember, anything, even if we do allow a demolition or whatnot, let's go back to the smokestack. Even said, yeah, it's okay for it to come down, but only on condition of, you know, the DEQ giving the project their approval on that. So those super agencies above and beyond the city of Muskegon are writing word on that, and they're the environmental experts, so, you know, those answers will
So
come from.
hopefully they'll be able to answer the question of what actually is the composition of the particulate.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Commissioner?
Sharon, we've had the privilege to see an article that's coming out this weekend. And it's an interview with Mr. Melching that was done by Dave Alexander. And there is a lot of good news in the question and answer time that should make you feel much more comfortable with what's going on.
Okay, that I don't have
encourage
to worry
you to
about
read it.
breathing in the middle of the night. Thanks.
Well, it is goldenrod and gray week seasons.
Well, I never have had allergies in my life, so.
Are there any other members of the public? Ma'am, please.
I'm Jean Nelson, I live at 2218 Harrison, right up the hill from Mill, and if there's not a shredder down there, I'd like to know what that noise is. It's horrendous, I'm not kidding, and it shakes the light over my table. And you can feel the ground, my dog wants off of it. Now, if that's not a shredder down there, I'd like to know what it is. There are 2 new outfits down there. One is a red one way on the back, and the other one is a round one up by the tower. The noise is terrible, and it's ripping metal. You know how your food chopper sounds when you put in carrots or whatever's heavy. Imagine that's metal and magnify it.
What time in the morning?
This was 8 o'clock. Now my neighbor works.
Last night or in the morning?
Oh, this was last Friday.
I probably have an idea what that is. Jackhammer.
No, I know a jackhammer.
Okay, well, that's.
I know the sound is nothing like
big
it.
pieces. Well, it's not like
This is a
one guy
ripping.
jackhammer.
This is a ripping. You can hear it.
Well, as we're going through, you know, we can attempt to find out some more, but as far as I know, there's no shredder there at this point. There's a lot of heavy equipment ripping through.
There is, yeah, we watch it because we're right there.
Right, and I watch it too.
You know, and
so.
my neighbor who lives in back, he lives in the old Chase mansion. He works second shift, and he's been working 12 hours, so he went to bed. And he was literally almost thrown out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning by that noise. His house was shaking. He thought a tornado was coming. No, that's just not normal demolition. Because we sit out there right across the street and listen to them ripping the buildings, and it's not that. So other than to get my camcorder out, and so you can hear the sound recording when it's happening, I don't know how else to explain it. So I think you should look into it. And I noticed that there is a pile of shredded metal.
Yes.
Back by the coat slip. And that's all ready for, they're so sure they'll get their docks. But that is shredded metal that's piled up back there. And you can see it if you go on the roof.
I was there
at
Friday.
the
I
top.
was right by the pile.
You must have seen the shredded metal.
Right, I saw the metal.
Yeah,
Shredder.
so, how did that metal get so small?
They rip it.
No.
They have shears and they have cutters.
I see that, but
Right.
there has to be a shredder, that horrendous noise.
Well, as of Friday, there wasn't, okay?
Yeah.
I was there personally.
Well, this was before last Friday, but I have heard it, so.
But
And I'm not alone, but my neighbors are, a lot of them are retired.
There.
They
And
don't
it's,
like
it's a
to
temporary, it's a
argue.
temporary.
We're a quiet neighborhood,
Right.
even with the mill, they were good neighbors with S.D. Warren. Sappy, not so much. But S.D. Warren, they were good neighbors, and everybody just got along. But this is different.
It'll be temporary.
I hope.
It's a demo site. It'll be
Yeah,
temporary.
but we're talking about going on and keeping it always the recycling.
Hopefully
You
not.
can't have that. I don't think you'd want it in your neighborhood. I don't think you'd want it while you're, having your morning coffee.
Thank you. Any other comments from the, or input from the audience?
Do I have to get up?
One more.
Okay, well, on the note,
Just so we can get you on tape.
Well, on the note, it's temporary, so what Melching said when he was here, that it was gonna be a permanent scrapping operation,
I
was
was
not.
referring to the demo.
Oh, well, and then the other thing was, is that I heard that he was gonna be bringing, that he got another contract for demolishing another building in the Muskegon area that was gonna be a huge scrapping operation, and that was going to go to the site as well. So you don't know about that. Do you have to approve it? Does he have to get permits for that?
Just remember that there is a public hearing on Monday at 6 o'clock for a Q&A session, and then 7 o'clock for the formal DEQ. It's not technically a hearing, it's to hear comments. And that would be an opportunity for people who wish to comment or learn more about what's going on at that site, and have DEQ members present to discuss with them what's going on. And also keep in mind that what they're talking about doing is using an existing boat slip to modernize it so they can use it to ship smaller shipments off, or larger shipments off by barge, as opposed to smaller shipments by truck through Lakeside. So, I mean, you might really want to think about whether or not shipping material off that site, including just what's already there and being demolished, through Lakeside as opposed to off by boat. I mean, that's kind of the choice that's being faced. So that's for people to decide, and if they wish to come, that will be here Monday, October 1st, Q&A session at 6. The hearing for comments will be at 7.
Can I do a quick introduction?
You can. I'll give you time for your name and what you're doing, but not enough time for your life.
No.
Mark Molitor, 1786 Beach Street. I just want to introduce myself to the board. I am the Republican candidate for County Commissioner for District 2. I've got a handful of you, but not everybody. I'll be happy to stick around afterwards for any question and answers that you might have.
You look just like this guy I saw last night at the Neighborhood Association.
I was there.
Thank you.
Curious.
Hey, thanks for coming out. Any other input from the public? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Nothing else, I motion to adjourn.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hood, seconded by Vice Mayor Spataro to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody disagree with that? Well, then let's boogie.